Hello. Hello. Anyone around here speak basketball?
Taking Bobby Webster.
This is Adam Silver.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks
Basketball
Podcast.
Podcast.
I am your host, coming from my mom's apartment. And who, sir? Oh, my name's Freddie Rivas. What's up?
Hi, Freddie.
And who, sir, are you?
I'm your producer. I'm Matty D, and I'm excited because when people hear this, it'll be after Kyle's been back in town. You know how I feel about him. I know how you feel about him. So
I love him.
Hopefully, it was an exciting game. They lost the Heat, but we're just
Hopefully we gave Kyle a nice birthday loss.
Yeah.
And I actually have a fun Kyle story, but I'm gonna save it till both guests are on.
all right.
That a friend of mine just told me last night. I'm sure everyone has Kyle stories, but I was playing in my Monday night men's league, and good friend of mine, Bob, he's a DOP. We went out for a drink after, and he said that he's like, filmed Kyle probably over like 5 times in commercials and different stuff. And one of his favorite times was like, this is like early in Kyle's like Raptor experience. They got Kyle to do this commercial, and the director was like, okay, Kyle, so we're just gonna have you do like a couple like wind sprints. And Kyle was like, no, I'm not doing a bunch of wind sprints, like I'm an athlete sort of thing. And then I think they wanted to like put something, like tie something to his leg or something like that, and he was like, I don't even work out like that, I'm not doing this. And it was sort of like a little bit like tense, but I guess they somehow got him to do the wind sprint once, and he wasn't happy about it. And they were like, okay, so we're just gonna get you to do that one more time. And Bob said he saw this like look wash over Kyle, where he was almost like sort of like at peace, and he was like, okay, sure. And he just jogged out of the gym offset and never came back. So they had one take, and that's what they used. Like, it made the commercial. And also, like, that's so great. Like, anyone that's done commercials, you're like, you've had that experience where they just do things a million times. And I don't know, thinking about Kyle just jogging offset and not coming back is so great. Anyways, I love Kyle.
That's awesome.
Oh man, I wish I saw that.
Right? And like
in the presence of greatness.
Yeah, that would be like, that's such an elite move too, and especially to like look at the director and be like, I got you. Yeah, let's do it again. And knowing that you're running away and like that's it for them. Just like truly not caring is a wonderful place.
He warned him, man. He's like, I don't do that.
Yeah, and also, yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, I don't want to. If I somehow know this director and that's you, I'm sorry if that was a bad day, but also it's pretty great. Okay, let's jump into it. Imman, let me go to you first. And yeah, I mean, we I've been talking on this podcast sort of since the Pirtle trade. I think for a very short time, getting beyond the play-in was like maybe people thought it was in play. It's not. I think 7th maybe really is no longer in play. Maybe it is mathematically, I don't know, but so 9 games left, I think, and our potential matchups in one form or the other, with Washington and Indiana kind of dipping out, is Chicago, Atlanta, Miami, and potentially Brooklyn, if Miami and Brooklyn sort of swap there for the 7th and 6th. And who is your, like, if if the goal is to be, the goal is to beat the team in the one game play-in. Like who do the Raptors have the best chance against, and who do you think they have the worst chance against in a one game kind of play-in?
I love this question because it's like what I waste my time doing always. And I think like the obvious one is like Brooklyn. They're free falling, right? Like they have the worst record since the All-Star break out of all of those teams that you just mentioned there. But like in actually digging through the numbers, because I went through Bleeding the Glass and I was actually like looking who are the teams that have the best net rating, the worst net rating in this bunch. And I'm really surprised at how poorly Miami has been playing during this stretch because they're the one team that's really been battling Brooklyn to try and get that 6th seed. The loss that they had to Brooklyn, to me, just broke my heart because I was like, please finish as a 6th seed. I don't want to see Miami. I don't want to see Jimmy Butler. I still will say Miami's a team I want to stay away from because I think they have the best player in a matchup between the Raptors, and they have a player that like the Raptors have really struggled against. And so I would love to stay away from them, but it actually surprised me digging into the numbers, and I have a lot of them here. I don't have my glasses on, so this is going to be fun. So since March 1st, actually, Chicago, so the Raptors have the best net rating out of the bunch since March 1st. The Raptors theoretically should be the team to beat everybody else. They have a 3.8 net rating in that time. Atlanta has the second best at 1.8. Chicago, the next at 0.9. I know, that surprised me too. Miami, since March 1st, has a net rating of minus 2.3. That's even worse than Brooklyn's. Which surprised me when I dug into the numbers there. Now, this is from March 1st. If I go back to the All-Star, it changes a little bit, and Brooklyn has the worst one there. But, Miami's defense has actually been, like, putrid during this stretch. Now, all these teams have bad defenses, but get this. Brooklyn and Toronto are tied for the best defense of the bunch at 8th and 9th best in the league since March 1st. That surprised me. I know that Brooklyn has good defenders because they have a bunch of two-way guys. They have a bunch of those perimeter defenders that the Raptors have, but I was surprised to see that they were actually, tied with the Raptors for the best defense out of the bunch, 8th and 9th in the league. And get this, Miami, the worst of the bunch, at 26th best defensive rating at 121.7. I don't know. I pulled these numbers from Cleaning the Glass, which just surprised me entirely. Now, Atlanta has an elite offense, but a terrible defense. That didn't shock me. It was just Miami's numbers in particular. Having said all of that, I still want to stay away from Miami because, again, I think Jimmy Butler is the best player there. I think that they'll probably finish with the 6th seed. I mean, I'm still hoping that they do so the Raptors, can beat Atlanta a little bit and for the 8th spot and get to play Brooklyn in just one game. That's like my ideal scenario. But it's actually surprising to take a look at Miami's numbers and realize that, like, no, they've been bad. There's a reason they're in the play-in.
Yeah, well said. And I feel like they, at this point, every team has sort of had, at this, like in this bunch anyways, other than Brooklyn, I feel like every team is sort of kind of like they are who they are to a certain degree. And that is really interesting about Miami though, because I feel like just, whether it's like the energy between like us and Kyle or, Jimmy, who's one of the rare players that does elevate his game in the playoffs, or Spo, like all those things make me afraid of Miami. But at the same time, I don't know. We have like this current Raptors squad has played Miami really tight in the past couple of years. Like one of our best wins was against Miami last year. And I think maybe the emotional thing makes me so afraid of Miami. I don't know if that's like enough, but that's really fascinating. I feel like I also, I guess maybe I'm stuck in sort of the whole season stats because I feel like the Bulls have had sort of a good defense throughout the year somehow. We've been better than
it's tapered off. It's tapered off in the last month, but I think if we go back to All-Star, they still have a better defensive rating than the Raptors. The Bulls also have just been flat out better than a lot of these teams because they were in that sort of 11 spot and they needed to climb up, right? Like they needed to make sure to be better than Indiana and Washington to solidify themselves in this space. And I don't know, the same, like, are you guys not scared a little bit of like the shot? Because to me, what scares me about all of these teams is the Raptors just might not have the shot making on any given night, right? Like DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, if it's a do or die game, can go off for a night. I think the Raptors have done a really good job guarding DeMar DeRozan. I think they recognize how to sort of stop him and take him out. But we've seen them struggle when you add in Zach LaVine, and it's like, okay, how do we take both of these guys out? Because one of them is just sort of bound to go off. Or Vooch, which now that you have Yak, you sort of take that away. And then like Atlanta, I'm not scared of them, but just because they have so many 3-point shooters, well, they've taken a step back that way, but just because their offense has just been so elite at times, I'm like, can the Raptors really keep up? Just in a one-game scenario, I personally think that they can. I think they can beat that team. But any team with a good offense, which shouldn't scare you in these scenarios, it should be teams with good defenses. I'm just like, I don't trust the Raptors offense to produce enough. That's my biggest worry. You just need shooters. The Raptors are the one team that can beat the Raptors. I'm rambling now, but that's my take. I just don't want to see the Raptors defeat the Raptors in the play-in.
I think,
I found
like,
it.
I think sadly there's a good chance that we do see that. And I feel like what scares me about this question is that I could see the Raptors beating any of these teams, and I could see the Raptors losing to any of these teams. Like, they haven't really proven to be consistent enough. Even with Pirtle here, there's been enough games like the Pacers game or whatever, right, where it's sort of our over aggressive defense. We have shot making. Where are you at, Christian? Who are you sort of afraid to see, and I guess like less afraid to see?
I mean, Imman had such a perfectly well-rounded point, and I feel like you echo all of my thought process throughout the entire thing. I go very much by the numbers by Miami or with Miami. And I think like they are a team you technically would want to face, but we have always struggled against them, especially with the kind of intensity they do. And you know what Jimmy's going to bring in the playoffs. You know what Kyle, if healthy is playing, would bring in the playoffs. You know that team under Spo, like you were saying, Freddie. I'm scared of Miami, even though they technically should be the team we face. But that's the team I want to face least. I think the team that has the best record, Brooklyn, is probably the team we want to face the most, just because like offensively we can stop a Michael Bridges. We can close him up. We can make sure if him and Cam Johnson and Nick Claxton are your three-headed dragon in the play-in, Nick Nurse knows how to plan for Nick Claxton. Like he's going to get his, but he's not going to destroy Yak with points. He might beat him on some boards, but he might not destroy Yak with points. So I feel like competing against Brooklyn might be our preferred shot. I think we lose in a play-in against Chicago. I think way too many, like you said, like offensive variables that Chicago has. But defensively, you're going to have two of the most annoying players try to stop Fred, who is right now cooking. Like although the Raptors have been inconsistent, Fred has, since Yak has gotten here, has been unstoppable. And you're going to put Alex Caruso and Patrick Beverley kind of like double dragoning him. Like, I don't want to see Chicago for that, right? Like, people are talking about Alex Caruso as all defensive team. And I'm like, I mean, kid's good. I don't think he'll make it. And then with Atlanta, it's again, I think that's a toss up, right? Like you can have Trey go off, DeJounte go off, and I'd be afraid. So I'm actually afraid of all the teams, but I'm
Me too.
most positive if we play Brooklyn. I think we eat them in the first round. Or the play-in. Sorry, we know it's not a first round.
Right. Yeah, great points. Also thinking about Pat Bevan Caruso double dragoning someone is perfect. I definitely could see them walking around and like people coming at them one at a time and like kicking their ass and then like high-fiving and stuff. Like I think that's like a very real image for those two. I think I'm in total agreement, and there's angles to all these. I feel like Atlanta and Brooklyn, there's the least amount of weird emotion. Like if DeMar and or Kyle are involved, I think that's already like a lot. I mean, like it will make good entertainment for Raptors fans, but there will be like there's gonna be some melancholy. Think about
the content. Think about the content, Freddie.
The content, like
content above everything. Content over everything. What's wrong with me?
You're right. Yeah, you know what? I guess
it's the Confederacy of content, dude.
Exactly.
Huge. New name of the pod, Confederacy of Content. Yeah. I think we all agree like that. I mean, the point that's sticking out to me too is like the Raptors might defeat themselves. Like
That's
they're
what
definitely
it is.
Mhm.
Like they should theoretically beat all of these teams
Yep.
that we just named. Theoretically, they are the best team. Their point differential points to the fact that they're the best team. Might not have the best record because they'll sleep on nights against the Indiana Pacers. But like that road trip, those were games that they really could have won that they came out 1-4 in, right? Like theoretically, they are the best team of the bunch. But they can also just go incredibly cold, and they just will beat themselves. If they lose in the play-in, they've beaten themselves. It doesn't matter who.
Just to add to your point, Imman, it feels like this is the season of the Raptors beating themselves. It feels like that's the tail of the tape this season, apart from Vision 6-9 that was referenced lovingly by Freddie off the top. It feels like
I'm gonna change it for next year. I'm just sticking with it, you know.
But it feels like even getting Yak at the deadline, which is another topic, like whom I love, is like giving up what they did. It feels like a band-aid to a team that kept beating itself, and they're trying to be like, please don't beat yourself anymore. You're good enough. So it's like, this is what I think that was an attempt to help reconcile.
Yeah. I think before we move on, I just want to say that I think the Raptors can win the championship if they do one thing, which is basically like tell Scotty to have a nap and then like aggressively wake him up and be like, Scotty, you slept in. It's the fourth quarter. Get out there. And just like send him running, like thinking it's the fourth quarter, like he somehow slept in. And then I honestly think he'll be like, go for like 50 a game.
Yeah.
But all that said, I really, you know, Pirtle stuff, we've like talked it to death, obviously, and we'll talk about it more in the off season. But I'm so excited to see this Raptor squad, you know, in a high leverage situation, like like from Scotty to Pirtle to a lot of the guys. And I think, you know, that might mean, you know, disappointment or someone underperforms in the clutch, but like, I want that data heading into the off season. Yeah, that's it for the pod. Thank you both so much for joining. And yeah, it was a good episode. Thanks for everyone who's been listening. Our next episode, I think, is going to be probably the last regular season episode. We might have two more, but yeah, Matt, I'm going to get you to come in, but Christian, first, let me go to you. What do you got going on? What do you feel like plugging? What do you want to let people know?
You should check out Christian and Nat on YouTube. It's pretty good. If you want to check out Nat and Christian too, go for it. Like, I'm sure they're great people.
Yeah, Christian and Nat mostly though, you know.
Yeah, they're great. Or Pulp Comedy on YouTube, you know. Yeah, go for it. Have a watch. And they're all sketch comedy and improv stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, you're hilarious. Everyone check that out. Yeah, I love your videos with your bro and that, and it's funny and it's good stuff. Imman, what's up? Where, you know, what do you want to let people know? Where should they check you out?
Dishes and Dimes is back. We actually are working on a couple of episodes that I'm really excited about that should be coming out in the next couple of weeks.
Awesome.
Some special guests. Yeah.
Huge. Yeah, check that out. Like, that's, you know, a very legendary Raptors podcast. So yeah, if you don't know about it somehow already, you know, check it out, listen to it. And thank you both. Maddie, let me throw to you. What do you want to let the people know on behalf of us, or also you personally, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for listening. If you've been listening on the podcatchers, we appreciate that. If you could rate us on Apple, Spotify, that would be great. If you caught the clip that we put up on YouTube, thanks for watching. Please comment, please like, and please head over to the podcatchers and listen to the full episode, or at raptorspublic.com. We also have the links all set up there, or at dunkspodcast.com, which is our own personal website. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Yeah.
Amazing. And again, big thank you for me, to both you, Christian, Imman, and to Maddie, best producer in the world. And yeah, go Raptors. We'll see what happens here. And thanks everyone for listening, supporting. Maddie, if you feel like we're done, we're good to go, please just give me those words I love so much. Okay.
Listen to full episodes of the Confederacy of Dunks only on the Rapcast.